Well, welcome back. It's another day today. I thought I'd have another crack on. So what I've done is made this plate here, and this is going to be the first part that goes in here. That lip there, I've kept that on there because obviously I've replicated it with that. So I always leave bits on to the last minute, so I always know how things go. So that marries that. That goes in here. If you notice, I've cut it in here, there, and this bit here I've cut out here for a reason. So why I've done this is when I make my new bit of chassis up that goes underneath the lip, this is all bent out of shape, so that's all got to be, I'll rectify that when it's as a new plate, put a new chassis made in there. Is I always do it like this, where instead of like plug welding it along on this bit here, I will probably put a couple of plugs there, or one there, maybe two there, onto that bit of chassis. But where I can, when I go along it, I try and, well, especially when I'm trying to join another plate to it. See, I've got this floor here to do here. So when I've made this bit of floor here, I'm going to make it so it butts up to this. But I will leave about a 3mm gap between here and here when I butt this plate up to it. So what I do, instead of like plug welding them both down, or making butt welding them up, then putting the plate on, then butt welding it, what I do, I leave about a 3mm gap, and then I'll seam weld it both together, and I'll weld it to the new chassis lip, and I'll weld this bit of tin and the next bit of tin together, so I'll get all three in one go. Then when I grind it flat, it's going to be a nice flat finish, and also you know you've penetrated to the chassis that's already there. So right, I shall now get on with the next bit. I'm not going to weld this on yet, that's there for reference now. I am probably going to do this chassis here next, cut that out and make a new bit up for that. Right, so next bit, I'm in here for that bit of chassis. I'll put a couple of little bits of cuts into it. I'm going to be moving it all in a moment, but just trying to flick it now. There's some rust in there. You know. So yeah, I've cleaned up a bit more of the area around here, as you can see, so I see where all the shit is, where it's alright. I cleaned up the bit of chassis from the other side, this piece here, that's all good, there's no holes in that, so I'm probably not going to replace that bit. I'm probably going to make half a chassis from there somewhere underneath, because the metal's really thin underneath, and do it from here, and then just probably curl it up onto the back behind there. I'll see, or I might just butt weld it along the edge. I'll see what it looks like when I'm done. So I see that's, I don't need this bit in here no more for the reference, because I've already made that from the top. So God, some shit in here. I will keep this bit on for a second. Get off there, you fucking thing. Get the fucking way, I'll put it out of the way from me. I'm going to keep this on here for a second for the reference, so I know how big the lip is, how far it's got, whatever, the angle, which is pretty obvious really, and where I'm actually going to weld it into. So I'll be back soon. I've decided before I go any further, I see I've chopped a bit out there now, more out there now. What I'm going to do, I think it's time to lose this bit now. I've got the, how high it's got to go, how far it's got to go down there. I've got the angle done. I've got my bit ready to here to go, so I know how far it's got to come in there. I'll get some better accurate measurements with that on there now, and with that other crap gone. So I now spot weld this on there. Right, as you can see, it's all gone now, that bit here. This bit here, ain't got to worry about this because it's not attached to nothing, and it's been cut back to here. So when I weld this plate in somewhere like so, I ain't got to worry about that. Just fit there neat. I'm only doing it one handed just to show you. So when that bit does go in, I'll do the sill further along, so I'll just cut that and that bit will drop out at the end. So my priority is just getting this in here. I will weld up nicely there. I'll spot weld it in and back. Right, there we go, it's all tacked in. If you notice, that is still loose there, the sill. And if you notice, what I've done is, you see I've pushed the sill in, so when I weld this up here, that's nice and flush there. That bit of old bit of sill is tucked behind this now, so when we put a new bit of sill here, I fabricate this up, I can actually keep this here, and this is actually in the right place to do so. Yeah, I'll do that, that's all good. So it's following it down nicely from there. So the next bit I'm going to do is fabricate that bit of chassis. Right, here's a plate that I made for the chassis. There you go, just straight formed. Okay, so that is going to go very just slightly over top of that. That's going to snug up there. That's going to snug behind it, which it does. So go to the top of the edge. And so I've got something like in there when it's done. So I'm now going to chop the old chassis about a little bit. Cut this off. Cut down here. And then chop the bit underneath out. Chop that out. And then go from there, getting it to fit. Alright, got the chassis trimmed in place. This is what it looks like now. That's from behind, that's where it's going to weld up to there. It is quite sweet fitting. All up there. I did cut a little bit of a bit out of it on the inside there, so it fits over this really well. You can see it's a nice fit up there. You can. That not good everything's looking nice and neat up there. Don't want that bit of daylight between the two panels because it's got to be welded up. So yeah, it's looking quite okay, I reckon. And this is what it looks like inside the front, which is alright for me. Just lower it down, see what it's going to be like inside. God, it's so easy. You've got a ramp, you know. Years have gone by. Oh, I used to piss about on the floor. God, that was so hard. Right, so now I'll show you what the inside view look like. Here. That's what it's going to look like now. That's what the plate will look like when it's in. Obviously it's not quite in yet, it's just laid in there for the video shot sort of thing. This bit of chassis here's got to push over a little bit so it's nice and level here. This is what I mean, what I do with the top edge of the chassis is I leave a little bit there. There's about 6mm there, that'll be. And then when I fabricate this plate here, around here, to wherever it's going to go, I will have it so it's just a 3mm gap between the two plates, like that sort of thing. So when I do weld them, I weld onto the bottom edge, but I get both floor pans at the same time. So when it grinds down, that looks nice and level and flush. It's good weld as well. I say it's attached between this one, that other floor pan that'll be there, and it'll be to the chassis. So that's how I do that. Right, next bit I'm going to do, I don't know. I should work that out and be with you in a moment. Right, what I've just done is just put the inner sill back in. Just having a quick little look around and weighing things up how far I've got. So it's all looking pretty good so far. I'm happy with this. Yeah, it's all good fits. Happy with that. So I think what I might do next is I might spot weld some panels in, or I might have a little, just making a little bit up there for inside the floor of the cab. But I'm going to go down and have a little assess. Right, I've worked out what I'm going to do next. I know, our feisty Freddy's coming out somewhere. Well, is he going to land that? He's probably going to start barking one on a tree. No, he's off on the scout belt. Right, so what I'm going to do is here, where the floor bends up, the floor bends up at an angle here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a cut in here, trim out, I don't know, ½ inch width here. I don't usually do this, but I'm going to make a template out of cardboard, so I don't usually do it because I can do it by eye and all that. But the reason being is because I'm going to try and craft this plate in here, but on the floor, so it comes up to this. So I'm going to trim along here and hopefully be able to take the top of it off on the other side. What's been welded on, I might not be able to. I'll have an investigation, so I can slide a bit of cardboard underneath, and then I can draw a sort of an angle where the floor comes round. Then I'm going to try and put an edge up, so I can then bring this down to the edge of the floor also, but I don't know how well that's going to work out, but we shall see. We shall see. So this is what I meant by cutting a slit in it. You see, I cut a piece out there and underneath there, so I get my cardboard to run straight through it, so that makes it nice and easy to mark things out. So what I'm going to do is, don't mark it on the inside, I'm going to come in a bit further. I'm going to mark the inside quickly while I'm here, and this is what it looked like from inside the cab. So what we do, actually, I'll explain to you. I'll just lower it down. So what I'm going to do is, I've got this plate, so I put it into where I want it. I want it to come up to this plate, because it's going to have a slight little edge that fold up, and that is going to be a continuation of this. That is. So what I do now is I'm going to mark the floor where it should be. I'll try and get in there with the camera. So where I think it should be, or to where that is there. Looks a shit edge, but don't worry, it'll come true in a moment. Something like that. And what I should do is, well, I shall just lift her up. And then I'll mark the inside edge, so then I can work out which is going to be the best average to sort of put my lines in, where the floor is going to meet, if I can, if I've got enough left in here. I can't remember. Shit, gone too high. Don't want to go that high. Yeah. So mark in here. That's a pretty accurate end, that end. That's going to be. I think it's going to be more of a truer edge doing it from inside here, I think. Yeah, I'm just going to come around a little bit down there. I think that'd be more of a truer edge doing it from inside there. Let's put some cardboard out now. Let's take that over to the bench a moment. Yeah, I think the inside one is going to be more of a truer edge to work with, because that's more the end of the panel that's sort of left in there. That is. Then this outer edge here, because that's all been plated over. See, so if I do sort of a out to medium round, So I don't usually do templates, but sometimes you have to. Especially on something like this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut out a bit of tin to, now I'm going to cut this cardboard template out here, then I'm going to trace this onto a bit of tin, and then when I draw the line on here on the tin, I'm going to do probably about a 3/4 extra bit on the tin. That's sort of where that'll be, kind of. And then I'm going to try and fold the edge up to make a little lip. Ain't got to go too high, probably about 30 degrees. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Back soon. Right, this is the plate I'm going to do. Turn it into the bit of the floor. That is that. Obviously I put that on top of there like so. This other line here, I use a bit of tin, gapped it, but if that's 3/4 of an inch, I just run it round, put a little dot to get that line there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play dot to dot, join them up here. So I've got my actual line that's going to be the floor, and then what I'm going to do on here, I'm going to get a chisel, and I'm going to chisel on this line here, and that'll cause me an edge where that'll be able to, well, I'll chop this off first, obviously, this bit here, then I say I'll chisel along this bit here, which will start to give me the lift. Then I can start tapping it up. Depends how well I can stretch it. I might have to use my shrinker stretcher over there just to stretch it and help it along, but I think that'll come up alright. Doesn't have to go up very high, so I shall let you know go on the progress. Just thought I'll give you a rundown how it's going on. This is the panel I cut. As you can see, I marked the line, and I'll put the chisel through it. Just mark the line. That's what it looks like from the other side. She gets a bit battered, but that's alright. So it is starting to lift, as you can see. You can see it more, I suppose, there. You can. The panel will go a bit wobbly, but we can sort that out in a little while. So yeah, just have a go. All I say is, it ain't that hard. All you got to know is what you want out of the metal and what you got to put into the metal to get what you want out of it again. Do you know what I mean? So I see this just scored a good score line. It's not a sharp chisel, it's from a sort of bits slightly been used and blunted, but that gives you, it doesn't cut through it, it just dents it really bad. Use a bit of soft bit of ply, bit of wood, so that'll dig into it. Yeah, that's it, and that'll start curving it up. Then you want to get it on the edge of the vise or something, or I've got some lumps of metal over there that I can probably do something. Then I'll tap it up, then I'll stretch it a little bit, and when I stretch it, that'll pick it up. That'll pick the edge up, then that'll flatten this plate out. So I'll give you a bit of progress in a minute. There you go, you see, I've got some stretch marks on there, and now let's curve the panel the opposite way, which, to finish it off, I will always go the opposite way, because you can bring the lip upwards to straighten the panel out. Other people might choose the other way. There's no right or wrong way of doing it, it's whatever way you're comfortable with. So now, as you can see, giving them a few stretches, the little lip is quite raised. So right, we're back in a moment, and I'm just going to give that a bit of a knocking with the hammer. Right, there we go, she's stretched and folded upwards. Right, so I'll just show you, it actually sits level on the bench. So I'll just show you what it's like when it's in the motor, and what I've got to do next is, remember, this is going to sit, this has got to be cut out here yet, so this has got to actually sit a bit further inside, but as I'm cramming it up against it, it ain't too badly fit, is it? So what I've got to do now, because the floor bend up here, you notice it goes along and it goes up. So what I've got to do with this is to get this so I can fold it now, but it's going to get a big old crimple in here. So what I'm going to do is put the stretcher attachment. I've got a new one. I should just get out of the box really, but then I've got to find somewhere to mount it. So what I'm going to do is just quickly, I'm going to swap my jaws over and put the shrinker in here, and this will pull this too. That'll pull that down, then I'll be able to bend that metal across. Right, back in a moment. Right, there we go. That's the panel pretty much done. So I'll give it a bit of a shrink in there to get the lift up there. Excuse me. So I'll give it one last trial fit for tonight. It's cold. It's got to fit in there. Like I say, I remember this has got to be cut out here. Yeah. Put that in there, but that's got to be something like that. Go in there. See where I'm coming from? I will put it in there a bit more, but it's all over the place because that should sort of fit more like that, which is quite a good fit, and it goes down nicely with the floor. Keeps moving about, keeps going down nicely with the floor. So I'll call that quite a success. It will need a bit of a slight adjustment when I cut things out, but yeah, it's all good. I'm quite happy with how that'll be. Right, that is get my voice back. That is going to be like the final resting place of it. You see, there's the gap there that I was saying about. That's where I'm going to weld right on the chassis, top of the chassis, and do all three of these areas together. And I'll drill the spot welds out ready to go on top of the chassis. So what I'm going to do now is actually get a little bit of welding done for a change. Right, I've just had a little bit of a weldathon. There we go, this is the inner sill. This is up the inner sill there. See a bit up there. So that's there it is. I feel a bit better now. I've got a bit of welding done and it feels like I've actually progressed. So just give it a bit of a get down a little bit. Just there you go. See in there. Done. All in there. I see behind the chassis there is done. Down a bit more. So now I'm going to give it a bit of a dress down with some weld sander. Let's get a bit more. Right, here we go, a bit round here. I'll disappear. Add it all in here. Around there. So yeah, that's all that in there now, so it's nice and solid. So what I'm going to do is just give it a little bit of a dress down, the welds, and I'll be back. Right, so that's a little bit I'm going to do today. Is sort of put this front closing panel on here and weld that in. I won't do it underneath obviously because that's where the sill carry on till. So back soon. Right, there we go. Done up plate. Just got a little 90-degree return on it. Can't really say anything more about it really, but I shall get that bit welded in. Right, so there we go. It's all dressed down. It's not too bad. That'll do me. Today this isn't a restoration or nothing. It is literally just keeping the old girl on the road. She does get used quite a lot. She does. So a bit of rot in there. If it was restoration, I'll do a lot more different job. So it is alright. It is going to be. There's a little lip there. I've got to do so. I'm going to call it quits on this video now, because otherwise it's going to be quite long again. Just quickly know, this is where join them in together. It's nice and flush. Yeah, obviously the reflection of the light is making it look totally different. You know what I mean? Whichever way I ground it down, but it's all good. So yeah, I'm going to call this an end for the day. So I'll be back with another video. I hope you're enjoying it. Thank you very much.